ورتل القرآن ترتيلا.
الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. رب زدني علما وألحقني بالصالحين. Assalam-u-Alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to this episode of ورتل القرآن ترتيلا. If you're new to this channel, let me tell you that this video series ورتل القرآن ترتيلا is all about learning the correct way of reciting the glorious Quran. We started from scratch covering the basics like recognition of Arabic letters, joining of letters, diacritic signs used for vowels, diphthongs, long and short vowels, and many more concepts and finer points of Tajweed, which you might have never heard in any Quran Tajweed lesson. So once again, I'm saying that these lessons will be definitely beneficial for you if you don't know anything about Tajweed. But if you are familiar with Tajweed, then also they will benefit you, because you will find so many rare concepts discussed in them which are never talked about in usual Tajweed books or lessons. So watch these lessons yourself and share them as much as possible with an intention of sadaqah jariyah. You don't know, probably your one click may help someone find this video who is desperately looking for an authentic source to learn the Holy Quran. So share this video, give it a thumbs up, obviously after watching it, and subscribe to this channel. Before starting today's lesson, let's recapitulate what we learned in the previous one. In the previous lesson, we learned how to ascertain the makhraj of any letter by making that letter sakin and bringing a hamza with a fatha before it, and reading the resultant syllable. We said wherever the voice stops, that is the makhraj or articulation point of that letter. Thereafter, we learned the makhraj of hamza and ha, which is aqsa halaq, or the deepest part of the throat. We said that there are two more makharij or articulation points in our throat, and they are wastul halaq and adnal halaq. I promised you to discuss these two makharij in the next lesson. So let's learn these two makharij today. Before we take off, let me tell you, if you have not watched the last lesson, you may not be able to comprehend today's lesson with ease. So please click on the link above to watch that lesson. As we saw in the previous lesson, there are 17 makharij or articulation points in our vocal tract, which are used to articulate different letters of Arabic, right? Out of these 17 makharij, we just learned one, which is the deepest part of our throat, called aqsal halaq. Now the next makhraj in our throat is wastul halaq, meaning the middle of the throat. It is the same part where larynx or voice box is located. Here, at this point, middle of the throat. Here. It is the makhraj of ha and ayn. These two huruf are articulated by contracting the middle part of our throat like ha, 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 ayn, ayn, ayn. If you put your finger on your larynx here, which is sometimes referred to as Adam's apple, you should feel a contracting movement here in the middle of your throat. And inside your throat, you should feel a kind of friction here at this part while articulating these letters. Arabs can very well hear this friction in these two letters, ha and ayn. And that is how they distinguish between ayn and hamza or ha and ha. So watch for this friction. If the friction is present, then it is ha articulated with this friction from WAST HALAQ. And if the friction is not present, then it is ha articulated from Assalam-u-Alaykum with a burst of air through vocal tract. Okay? Likewise, if you want to articulate ayn, you have to create this friction at your larynx. If you don't create this friction and let the air come out with a burst, it will not be ayn, it will be hamza. So hamza and ha are articulated from Assalam-u-Alaykum or the deep throat, letting the air burst out through your vocal tract. While ayn and ha are articulated from WAST HALAQ or mid of the throat by creating a sort of friction in your larynx. I hope that makes sense to you. Now let's go ahead and use the method of ascertaining the makhraj with these two letters. So how do we do that? We will make these letters sakin and bring a hamza with a fatha before them. Then read this syllable. Wherever the voice stops, that is the makhraj of ha or ayn. Hamza, ha, fatha. Ah, ah, ah. Watch it here. Ah, ah. Hamza, ayn, fatha. Ah, ah, ah. You have to consciously stop the voice at this middle part of your throat or Adam's apple, like ah or ah. Now let's practice these two letters with different vowels and skoon on them. Ha fatha, ha, 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 ha kasra, hi, hi, hi. ha ضمة حو 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 لام حا فتحة لح لح سين حا كسرة سح سح را حا ضمة رح رح عين فتحة ع ع ع عين كسرة عي 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 عين ضمة عو 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 نون عين فتحة نع 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 فا عين كسرة فع 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 نون عين ضمة نع نع نع. Now let's read some words containing these two letters at different positions with different vowels and skoon on them. Alhamdu, alhamdu, alhamdu. Make sure that you articulate ha with the middle of your throat with friction. Ar-Rahmanu, Ar-Rahmanu. Hamida, Hamida. Rahima, Rahima. Hasaba, Hasaba. Junahu, Junahu. Suhufu, Suhufu. Nuhun, Nuhun. Hawla, Hawla. يحبون يحبون أوحيت أوحيت. Now let's go for عين. عالمين عالمين. عبد عبد. لعب لعب. جزع جزع عبادي عبادي راجعون راجعون نعبد نعبد فعقروها فعقروها عظيم عظيم عليم عليم. Now notice the difference between these two words here. عليم 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 عليم. The first one starts with the letter Ain, which is articulated from WAST HALAQ or mid of the throat, while the second one starts with the letter Hamza, which is articulated from Aqsal Halaq or deep throat. Alimun with Ain means very knowledgeable, while Alimun with Hamza means very painful. Alimun, Alimun. Now listen to these two words. Halaqa, halaka. Halaqa, halaka. The first word starts with the letter Ha, which is articulated from Wastul Halaq, and the second one starts with a Ha, which is articulated from Aqsal Halaq. Now halaqa means to shave. Notice that this word has a fatha at the end, which is a sign that this word is a verb. But if it has a tanween at the end, like double fatha, double dhamma, or double kasra at the end, or an alif lam at the beginning, it will mean the throat. So here halaqa with a ha from wastul halaq with friction is a verb which means to shave, while halaka with a ha from aqsal halaq without friction is also a verb, but it means to perish or to annihilate. So see the huge difference in the meaning of these two words by just changing the articulation point or makhraj of just one letter. So it should give you an idea about how important it is to articulate every letter from its real makhraj or the correct makhraj. That if you don't articulate each letter from the assigned makhraj, it may change the meaning of many words. We will learn more about this concept in future when we take up major and minor mistakes in articulation. For now, let's reiterate that Ha and Hamza are articulated from Aqsal Halaq without any friction but with a burst of air, while Ha and Ain are articulated from Wastul Halaq with a sort of friction created by contracting the middle of your throat. With that said, let's end this lesson here. See you in the next lesson, inshallah. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.